Hello.
Hello. We've had a really, really busy few days.
We have.
Tired?
Exhausted.
On Sunday, Mr. J.
Thank you. Good grief. Credit where it's due.
Yeah, absolutely. Did a load of weed whacking, a load of weed removal, chopped up a whole load of wood. What else did you do? We did the raised bed.
We did that raised bed that was vlogged about as the surprise raised bed. And isn't it better to be surprised than shocked?
Definitely. Yeah, no, it was good though. It was great to get that done.
Good job.
And then on Monday, well, it was more of the same.
Yeah, more weed whacking. Overheating the weed whacker. Whoops. It's alright, I sorted it out now.
More of the pallets got cut down and stored away.
And then we went out and went mooning.
We did. Not like that. So we went to see the Museum of the Moon, and if you haven't seen that video yet, which is lovely, I'll leave a link just up here by Mr. J's head.
Yes, do watch it. It was very, very good, and if you get a chance to go to the Museum of the Moon yourself, it's worth it. And if you look at the vlog, then you can find out the link to the site where it's talked about, and they'll show you the tour dates. Amazing to think of a museum going on tour, isn't it?
I know. It's a great art installation. Can't say it, but it was great. And then Tuesday, more of the same.
Yeah,
it was really, really hot yesterday.
It was very hot yesterday. So weed whacking in moderation. Started to tackle some of the brambles that are coming in over the over the boundary from the fields outside our land.
There's plenty of them.
Oh, good grief, yes. Bit more wood chopping, and I went and bought some hoses and bits and pieces, didn't I?
And I cleared quite a lot of brambles and stingers and thistles, yes,
yeah.
Loads of thistles from around the edge of the diesel field and the covered walkway over there, and around the reed bed.
And there's, it's amazing. I've also been weeding loads of chunks of stuff out of the gravel in our driveway. And I know a couple of people have said, oh, it's so weed free. I'm looking out the window as we're talking to you and thinking, oh, for goodness, and I missed that bit, and I missed that bit, and that bit was a swine. I couldn't get that out with my bare hands, etc. There are tons of the little perishers.
I think actually we see what's left to be done, and other people see how much has been done.
It is interesting. I was going to say that you'll fill a couple of bags full of stuff, and then you look back and think, where have I just... But it looks as bad as it did before.
And it doesn't really.
No, I suppose not.
It might look it, but it's not actually going to be it, is it? So
that was Tuesday.
Yep, and then today...
I should have been at work today.
You should have been. He hasn't.
Sorry,
been.
boss. No, I was actually told not to come in today, and they'll spread my hours out over 3 days instead of 4 this week. So
Scooby bonus day at home.
Scooby bonus day at home. More weed whacking. More wood More weed whacking. More wood cutting, and we've got something to go and collect in a little while, haven't we?
We have, yes. So it's been a busy few days, but it's been really nice, hasn't it?
And as always, because of the way we pace things, there's been time to do other stuff as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't see any vlogs for a start.
Yeah, I got my hair cut.
Oh yeah. Someone's aim was true.
Someone's aim was true. Yeah, haircut.
Yeah, and that was haircut 100. Fantastic shirt.
We've been having a music conversation over
the last 17 minutes. Sorry, 17 seconds.
What's it called when it's between lunch and supper?
Time. The afternoon.
The meal. Lupper?
Mid-afternoon snack.
Lunch.
Mid-afternoon snack.
Okay.
Low tea.
Low tea.
Well, it wasn't high tea, was it?
It was late lunch, I think. Late lunch at 4 in the afternoon.
Time is an illusion. Lunchtime doubly so, as I think we've just proved.
So, we were discussing musical things over lunch.
By the way, this doesn't mean things like Mamma Mia the musical, or The Sound of Music, or Queen's We Will Rock You, or...
No, we were just talking about...
Rodgers and Hammersmith.
We were just talking about music.
Yes.
And artists. musical artists. Because
Picasso's greatest hits sound awful.
Look great.
Yeah, oh yeah. But you don't want to put them on your turntable.
No, Guernica going around at 33 miles an hour. Miles an hour? Revs per minute.
Yes, revolutions per minute, not miles. 33 miles an hour. God, you think of that, about that in the days of the wind-up gramophone, 78 miles an hour. No wonder they look like that in those silent films.
Oh dear. Brilliant. So we were talking about some artists that we admired when we were younger.
Last week.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than last week.
Week before.
But when we were younger. And saying that a couple of them are performing in Cardiff later in the year, and did we want to go? And the answer was no.
I think not, particularly with the ticket prices being quite high.
Nearly £80 each to
Which,
go and see someone.
I mean, the thing is, with modern gigs, that's not a huge amount of money. Some of the artists...
But it is for us.
Well, yeah, and also it is for some of the artists that are performing there.
Yes.
Some of the artists I admire, that I would consider going up to £100 for a ticket for some of them. I remember going to see bands in the 90s, about 25 years ago. I went to see a particularly well-known band. DVD now available of that gig, and it was 25 quid for a ticket, which was a lot of money back then. Your standard gig was probably about 12, I suppose.
No, it's quite a lot.
But it was worth it because it was such a big show. I wouldn't have paid £25 to go and see a band in a club then. I would now.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I would, because we went to see a band. There was a band that I really, really like. I love their music, and when I lived up in Mid Wales, I travelled all the way to London, which
that's quite a journey.
It's quite a journey. It's 5-6 hours, however you look at it, and they were superb. And then they became very popular. They had a #1 hit single, and they played in Bristol, and we went to see them there at my request, and it was awful. Not that they were awful, but there were just many people. Well, they weren't brilliant, or the sound wasn't brilliant.
I was going to say, they may have been awful, they may have been brilliant. It was actually impossible to tell because you couldn't hear anything over the crowd of people talking to each other and taking selfies and holding their mobile phones in front of us. And it was jam-packed anyway. To
the point where actually I couldn't see over people's heads, so I actually couldn't see the band at all. It was really thoroughly unpleasant, wasn't it? Which was very sad because it's kind of put me off them. And maybe I shouldn't be that flighty, is that the right name?
Yeah,
lightweight or something. But anyway, slightly put me off them. And I haven't been to see them since.
No. I don't know if they've played here since, actually.
I think they might have done. But anyway,
I would quite happily pay 25 quid to go and see Kafka Diva play. Don't think I'd have to because they're lovely people and they like us. But I would, because I think it'd be worth it.
Yeah, and there are a few bands around at the moment that we probably would pay to go and see. But anyway, all of that conversation was about.
Sorry, we're sidetracked there.
Well, just a little bit. But that's okay. You'll forgive us for sidetracking, I'm sure, or not. In which case, you're probably not watching this by now anyway. So no worries.
So anyway, all that conversation came about because. You were about to say, leading back into, so that we get back into track.
I've got no idea. Okay, I have absolutely no idea what we were talking about.
Nothing unusual. We were talking song lyrics.
We were talking song lyrics at the meal time.
Or titles, even.
So anyway, that's what we were talking about. So we've been dropping song titles into, well, one of us has been dropping song titles in.
That's the way I rock and roll.
Don't be too obvious.
I had high hopes for this one, but...
Oh no. Who did that? I only know the Doris Day version.
Pink Floyd!
What, High Hopes?
Yeah, it's the last track on the Division Bell.
It's
You've
not.
seen the video. You've seen the video at
But
the
Doris
exhibition.
Day does the High Hopes.
Yeah, and Frankie Lane or someone did Stairway to Heaven, and so did Neil Sedaka, but it was actually a Led Zeppelin song that everyone knows. There are, something I do in my radio programme every couple of weeks is a thing called Two Songs, One Title.
It's Doris
So
Day.
I'll play two tracks that have got the same title and nothing else in common.
Doris Day.
No, I wouldn't play Doris Day next to Pink Floyd.
Oh no, it would upset Doris.
I don't think you can call Mr. Gilmore Doris. Sorry, David. Oops.
I think all of that's going to be cut out, really. I think the whole music conversation will be cut out because it goes nowhere.
Oh, that's interesting because that's also from a Pink Floyd.
All day, every day. I love him.
All hits all the time. Stop hitting me.
So what were we talking about?
I think we were just talking about your haircut.
Oh yeah, we
Your
got to
haircut 100 and
100.
favourite shirt.
Okay, so that was like 10 hours ago.
Actually, fantastic shirts, wasn't it? It was favourite.
Fantastic day.
Fantastic day and favourite shirts. I combined two haircut 100 tunes, you see.
That was clever.
I know.
That was clever. So what you don't know is I probably, and I don't know whether I'll edit out or not, but if that was a smooth conversation, I edited out a very long ramble about music.
Not going to be anybody else. Well, not unless you put a script in front of me, darling. You know.
Well, we don't do that. We also have no idea what we're going to talk about when we sit down. Very occasionally I'll have a vague subject, but usually...
Yeah, you very occasionally got a vague subject and you say, we're going to talk about this, turn the camera on, and we don't. And then you turn the camera off and you go, oh, but we were going to talk about...
Oh, I've done that so many times, haven't I?
Haven't quite got to the point where you're editing us in 3 days later when your haircut's changed again and we're wearing different clothes and it's raining whereas it was sunny and, you know.
I'm terrible about continuity
You are.
errors. However, I spot them in programmes and films all the time. Do you do that? Do you notice when someone walks into a room holding a handbag and it's disappeared in the next moment?
Or it switches arms while they're standing talking to someone.
Yes. The one that really, really bugs me is when a woman has got her hair in front of her ear in one scene and then when you see her from the side it's tucked behind her ear. Honestly, that's just basic continuity.
I remember seeing a TV programme once where, and I think they did this on purpose, actually. Every time they cut to the guy who had a pen in his pocket, it was in the pocket on the other side, each time.
Nice.
Throughout. And I'm sure it was done deliberately. But if it wasn't, I'll give them credit for it. I would do if I could remember what the programme was.
Well, when you think about it, we'll cut back into a video.
I doubt if I'll ever remember that because it was about 40 years ago.
Well, should you ever remember what that was, we will interrupt whatever video I'm doing.
We interrupt this programme to bring you a news flash.
He's remembered something.
It was two ducks on a hillock
Actually, we've got several
on
ducks.
ITV9.
Out in the duck field, there's a mound of stuff.
A hillock?
And it's like a hillock. And the ducks like to climb up on it and then they can look right out across the whole of the homestead and see what's going on and they got that and they shout. If they can see a cat,
Yeah.
they shout and shout and shout until it's gone. But it is like we've got meerkat ducks. Mere ducks.
They're more than mere ducks.
Oh yes. Talking of ducks, Eric the Bees popped round day before yesterday, Monday.
Yeah, day before yesterday. Now, you may not know who Eric the Bees is. I don't know if you've ever mentioned Eric the Bees.
I have mentioned Eric the Bees.
Okay.
So Eric is the beekeeper who actually owns the bees that live on our land.
I don't think you can own a bee.
All right, he owns the beehive
Yeah.
that has the bees in it that live on our land.
He tends the bees.
That's true, he does. Monty's about to make a grand entrance by the sound of it. Yeah.
Or possibly a rapid exit.
One of those. So anyway, Eric called by to see how the bees were doing and I said, well, we can't really look until I've cleared some more of the weeds out of the way.
Yeah.
Another job for the list. And he mentioned that his ducks had been caught by a fox and would it be possible to use our incubator to pop some duckers in to to try and hatch some ducks from his eggs. So,
Of course, the answer was yes.
of course, the answer was yes. So we now have an incubator. My alarm's going off.
If you can hear a strange alarm in the background, it's Liz's phone making odd noises for the sheer sake of it.
Oh, it's an alarm that I set, and I don't know. I can't remember why I set it. But anyway,
It's probably to remind you that to switch the alarm off.
yeah, probably. So Eric the bee's called round. We've got his eggs in the incubator. So in another 28 days, hopefully he'll be able to come back and collect some ducklings to replace his poor old ducks that are no longer with him.
We're about the same time as the turkeys are due to hatch, isn't it?
Well, actually, no, because the turkeys are due in a fortnight.
Oh, are they? Oh.
I'm getting quite excited about turkeys, and then we have to make the decision about whether we hatch them in the incubator and put them in the nursery pen, or whether we put some under a broody hen, because yet again we still have broody hens going left, right and centre. So
They're not really going left, right and centre at all. They're just going
yeah, okay, so we've got a couple of broody girls
Going
who are
pancake.
very broody, and I suppose it is possible that we could stick a couple under. We've got 18 eggs, so we could give them a couple each to raise. Maybe?
Maybe.
We'll have to think about it.
That's a conversation for off camera another time.
You look's quite sceptical, so if you are
Yeah,
sceptical,
I'm sceptical.
well then we won't do it. It's as simple as that. If you are sceptical, I'll leave it up to you to break the broodiness. And that's not me, that's the incubator making that noise. So I think we'd better go and get on with the...
Whatever it is the alarm's telling us to go.
Yeah.
Have you actually put on your phone what the alarm is for?
No, I know what it's for as well.
Oh, okay.
So the alarm's going off, the incubator's making funny noises. I think we ought to go and get on with things.
And finish coffee.
Finish tea, finish coffee.
Cheers.
Is that what you do with tea? It's cold. It's cold tea.
That's because you've been talking too much.
And so,
Wherever you are in the world, and whatever you're doing today, hope it's a good one. And I also hope you can join her again tomorrow.
bye.